Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jake Silver Show. Let the Hunger Games begin. As most of Americans struggle to pay their everyday bills and meet the rent at the end of the month, put gas in their car, basic things around the house, the Trump administration has approved a new construction for a ballroom beginning in September of this year. This is the largest construction addition adding on to the White House since Truman was president, I believe, when he had the building of the West Wing made. White House unveils plan for $200 million ballroom, Trump's long-sought imprint. President Trump is unveiling plans to fulfill a long-held desire to add a state ballroom off the East Wing, a $200 million, 90,000 square foot project that would be one of the largest renovations to the historic building in decades. The project poses a myriad of questions about potential conflicts of interest and the feasibility of such an undertaking, which Mr. Trump expects to be completed before he leaves office. White House officials said the president and other donors would pay for the renovations, but declined to give details. The 90,000 square foot ballroom project would allow the administration to host events for about 650 people, more than triple the capacity of the largest room in the building, the East Room, according to a White House statement. Trump has said the new ballroom would allow officials to host large events for world leaders and other guests without needing to stand up a large tent on the White House South Lawn. The renovation would be one of the largest projects on the White House grounds since President Harry S. Truman created what is now the West Wing, according to the presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. Now, of course, the White House has needed more space for leaders to come and eat fancy things in the White House while the rest of the country starves and lives on food stamps and spends the rest of the cash in their pocket in order to put food on the table for their family. Families would be much larger if it wasn't for the basic cost of living in America right now. The cost of living compared to the wages that most of Americans are getting is just not sustainable, as you and I know, to create a family of 4 or 5 or 6 even. Something that our boomer parents had gladly done on simple jobs like being a manager of a produce section in a grocery store. But no, you could hold high-paying jobs in these big corporations or these government jobs, and you can get promoted multiple times or even early on in your career and still struggle to maintain even taking care of one child and a wife at home. They've created a situation to where both parents must work. There must be a 2-income household just to maintain any type of stability in the household. It's quite tragic what's happened. But hey, look at it this way. At least now, everyone on the Epstein list can come dine in the White House comfortably. I mean, this room sits over 650 people. This is going to be awesome for them. Instead of hiding out at a tent or maybe going up to Sun Valley once a year to discuss how they want to dominate us, they could do it right in the White House. They can enjoy the fine cooking by the executive chefs in the White House, all under the roof of the most prominent building in American landscape. I mean, this is great for them. They're sending out invitations now for the first dinner that will be there. No need to RSVP. All the names on the Epstein list will be included, so you know who you are. Make plans, schedule a sitter, or bring the kids to the dinner. Maybe you guys could eat them later for dessert. Who knows? Donald Trump praises registered sex offender invited to speak at White House event for children's fitness. President Donald Trump's attempt to revive the long-defunct presidential fitness test veered into political scandal and absurdity Thursday after he launched the Children's Health Initiative alongside a convicted sex offender boasting that there's nobody like him. Trump signed an executive order reinstating the presidential fitness test in public schools, framed as a national push for discipline, strength, and American excellence. The initiative was rolled out at a Roosevelt Room event meant to evoke Cold War-era unity. What it evoked instead was outrage. That anger was not about the test itself, though it has its critics, but about who Trump chose to stand beside him. Former New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor, 66 years old, stood just feet from Trump during the launch. Taylor is a registered sex offender who, charged with statutory rape in 2011, pleaded guilty to sexual misconduct and patronizing a prostitute after paying for sex with a trafficked 16-year-old girl, ESPN's reported. He claimed he believed she was 19. He was sentenced to 6 years of probation. In order to register as a sex offender in 2024, he was arrested again in Florida for failing to update his address on the state registry, a repeat violation. Trump not only invited Taylor, but handed him the microphone. "I'm proud to be on this team," Taylor said. "I don't know why. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing, but I'm here to serve." Lawrence Taylor, you're not alone. A lot of people within the Trump administration have no idea what they're doing. You're definitely not the first person to feel that way. You may be the first person to openly admit it on national television, but you're not alone in two matters. One, you're not alone in the fact that you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing there, but you're also not the only rapist. So, so you'll fit right in, Lawrence. Just shake those nerves off and get ready to develop some fitness programs for our fat little kids all across American public schools. I mean, this is a huge issue in American society. We have fat kids turning into even fatter adults. I don't know what their parents feed them, but they need to stop. So Trump, great thing bringing back this fitness program. I do believe it's kind of a baseline thing we need in our public schools, some form of expectation for these children to meet in terms of physical fitness. But I don't think it's a good look to introduce this plan alongside Lawrence Taylor. But Trump loves the guy. He thinks he's amazing. He, quote, has said there's nobody like him. But hey, invite him to the ballroom. It'll be great. Just another pedophile in the ballroom eating turducken or whatever the fuck they're going to be eating in there. Big Macs. Who knows? A deconstructed Big Mac, a Diet Coke, whatever Trump's menu consists of. But yeah, maybe next time you want to introduce any legislation involving children, maybe leave out the child predators and sex offenders. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a construction worker. I'm not a politician. I'm not a PR guy. But if I was introducing some program to help children, I think the last person I would call would be a known pedophile. So, but to each their own, maybe Trump has a vision that I just can't see here. Great news, people. If you've been having trouble paying your bills, paying your rent, your car insurance, your medical bills, student loans, I have great news for you. Now, you can help pay off the national deficit. Instead of just paying off your own credit card debt, now you could start funneling money over to the U.S. government. And you could do this conveniently through Venmo or PayPal. Want to help America's $36 trillion debt? Treasury Department now takes PayPal and Venmo donations. The U.S. Treasury Department's little-known program has been around for decades, and Americans have donated $67.3 million in the last 29 years, which has done little to bring down the current $36.7 trillion in debt. You, donors, can now go to pay.gov and under the Gifts to Reduce the Public Debt, choose between the more traditional bank account or credit/debit card options and the newer options to make a gift. The national debt, which measures what the U.S. owes to its creditors, rose to $36,721,531,000,000. Oh, wait. Yes. 36 trillion 721 billion 531 million $33,603 Friday, according to the latest numbers published by the Treasury Department. That is up about 34.5 billion from the figure reported the previous day. 34.5 billion in a day. 40 years ago, the national debt was 907 billion. This has intensified with the recent passage of President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates will add $3.4 trillion to budget deficits over the next decade. Trump's team argues revenues from tariffs and faster economic growth will more than help offset rising the debt. Now, this is great. I mean, now we can, tackle the problems that we've created as American citizens head on ourselves. We can really do some soul searching and figuring out where our money's being spent. You're just ordering DoorDash every day. Now, every time you want to order DoorDash, send those $30, $40 straight to the American government. Your 20, 30, up to 50% tax on your annual salary is no longer enough. You need to fork over more money. And now they have great methods to do it. PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. You could Cash App the government now. If Trump's standing next to you, pull out your iPhone and just tap a little Apple Pay over to him. Tap him over a good $10, $15 to help bring this national debt down. It's not going to pay itself off, people. This is a serious matter. If you have any money in a high-interest savings account, pull it out now and Venmo it to the White House. They do have a $200 million ballroom to build, and it's got to get done soon. So go ahead. If you're saving up for your kid's college tuition, fuck that kid. Send all of that savings over to the government. We need to do our part in getting this deficit paid down. That's the only way it's going to happen, guys. So get on it. Don't buy a new iPhone this month. Just go ahead, stop pre-ordering video games, whatever it is you need to do. Cancel your renovations. Take out a loan. Take out a high interest loan. Give it straight to the American government if you are a true patriot. Netanyahu responds after Israeli hostage seen emaciated, digging grave. Cruelty of Hamas has no boundaries. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has responded to a disturbing new Hamas propaganda video showing 24-year-old Israeli hostage Aviatar David severely emaciated and digging what he said was his own grave. The cruelty of Hamas has no boundaries, Netanyahu said in a statement. While the state of Israel is allowing the entry of humanitarian aid to the residents of Gaza, the terrorists of Hamas are deliberately starving our hostages and document them in a cynical and evil manner. The entire world must take a stand in a clear message against the criminal Nazi abuse perpetrated by the Hamas terror organization. The irony here is very palpable. I mean, here you have a war criminal committing out a genocide, and then once a Jewish hostage gets tortured on video, and he's, from what I know, still alive. He's probably not at this point, but at least he's alive in the video. All the people that Benjamin Netanyahu has killed, the only video you see is from a government-sponsored drone dropping a fucking bomb on their village. So, very choice words, calling the Hamas group evil, and their cruelty has no boundaries. It's crazy coming from someone committing a genocide. It really does. I'm sorry, we can't call it a genocide. It's a famine. It feels better that way when we talk about it as a famine as opposed to a genocide. So let me retract that statement. Benjamin Netanyahu is not carrying out a genocide. How stupid and ignorant of me to assume that a Jewish prime minister is committing evil crimes against an entire race of human beings. Yeah, Netanyahu, I don't think anybody's going to feel you on this one. If what's the saying? If you want to swim with the sharks, you're going to lose a little blood. Um, a couple of your guys are going to get caught and they're going to get beheaded on video. I mean, small price to pay for killing tens of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza. I mean, it's just a little chip off the old block. It doesn't even add up to the amounts of graves you created for the poor Palestinians here. I mean, this is just what you get. This is the consequences of war here. If you want to carry out a genocide, you can't go online crying when one of your guys is getting waterboarded on video and then crying while digging his own grave. I mean, that's literally the least they could do. At least he was 24 years old and not a child. Just some numbers on the deaths in Gaza. By August 2025, the Gaza Health Ministry had reported that at least 60,138 people in Gaza have been killed. 1 out of every 37 people, averaging 91 deaths per day. So by the time that video of the man being tortured was created and released, over 200 people had already been killed. So most of the victims are civilians, of whom at least 50% are women and children. Compared to other recent global conflicts, the numbers of known deaths of journalists, humanitarian, and health workers and children are among the highest. Yeah, just the casualties of war here. We're not targeting any major militia. We're targeting all of them. All right. So don't torture any of my people on video, God forbid, while I wipe out your entire people's existence. How inconsiderate of you, Hamas. You got to treat the Jews better here, okay? Over in Africa, Islamist terrorists kill 49 Christians in African church massacre. Eyewitness reveals horrific details. There's an ongoing swath of killings of Christians across Nigeria and the DRC. Reportedly more than 4,000 in Nigeria in approximately last year. But this barbaric killing in the DRC has led a White House spokesperson to tell Fox News Digital the Trump administration condemns in the strongest terms this horrific violence against Christians in the DRC and is committed to advancing the Washington Accords to bring peace back to the region and end targeted killings. 9 of those who were decapitated in Sunday's DRC attack were children. Several other children, the number isn't clear, were abducted. The attackers were members of the Islamist Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a sanctioned rebel group with roots in Uganda. Henrietta Blyth, CEO of Open Doors UK and Ireland, told Fox News Digital, "This is a crisis of biblical proportions. This is a silent slaughter happening, which nobody is discussing. It's like the slaughter of the innocents in the Bible. Really, I mean, women and children are being targeted along with men. Nobody is reporting on it. Nobody even seems to be particularly concerned about it." Join the club. I mean, if it's not the Jews being persecuted or killed in swaths, it's not going to make national or global news. It's just not important. If these were Jewish synagogues in Israel being attacked and burned down every single day or every single month, like it is in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. No, but if this was happening in Israel like it was in the DRC, you'd hear about it as the biggest humanitarian crisis ever since the Holocaust. I mean, Trump had a peace deal signed early on with the Democratic Republic of the Congo on the, I believe, the western end, but this Christian persecution is happening out in the east, where many are saying that it just doesn't help their case. Blyth has said that the Islamists are attempting to create a caliphate with its strict Islamic laws in a country which is 80 to 95% Christian. Christians are not even sleeping in their houses at night. They would rather sleep in the jungle at risk of wild animals than be sitting ducks in their houses when the extremists attack. In sub-Saharan Africa, we think that more than 16 million Christians have been displaced as a result of the violence. The church is on the run. Christians are snatching up their children and running for their lives, often at night. Again, Christians have been persecuted for thousands of years, hundreds, thousands of years. This is nothing new, and the Trump administration, I can tell you this now, is not worried about some African Christians being slaughtered in their church. They're just not worried about it. The main goal here in the Trump administration is to carry out all of Netanyahu's wars in the Middle East. That is the main focus here. So, if you're somehow watching this from Nigeria or the Democratic Republic of the Congo or Yemen, Syria, any of these countries where Christians are being heavily persecuted, you're fucked. Don't look for the American government to help you. You're just not on our list of concerns right now. We're trying to afford gas over here. We can't care about Christians being persecuted. Come on now. Come on. We literally have to finish this genocide in Gaza. There's no continuing on here. We have to get the ballroom built on the East Wing, and we have to invite Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk to come dine on some crab legs. All right? But I promise you, none of your American tax dollars are going to be used to create this ballroom. I promise. You have my word for it, Trump says. Well, thanks for tuning in today, guys. I appreciate it, and I will see you next week.